Hey, and welcome into the House of L podcast. I'm Laurence Holmes. Thank you so much for checking out what it is that we do. We are brought to you by Remy Martin, Team Up with Excellence. We will have a lot of fun with Remy Martin in the fall for sure. And I'm looking forward to doing more Bears programming with them. That's what I want to talk about today. I didn't wear my Remy hat. I thought about wearing it because I wore a black polo to Halas Hall today, and it was cool enough where that wasn't a problem, because sometimes if you're going to be outside, you don't necessarily want to be wearing black, but it was cool enough and I was going early enough that I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I was going to wear my Remy cap with it. I was like, I don't know if I should do that. And I said, I want to do a flat brim. I want to do a flat brim. And so my choices were, because I think it's weird. I think that my head is shaped pretty good for flat brims. I also like bending brims. I just bought a new DePaul cap. I have too many caps, and maybe that's an episode of the podcast at some point. I can show you guys on YouTube how many caps I have and how many different caps I have. But I went with this one. And shout out to Coop, by the way. Coop, who does his videos on Instagram and TikTok, his 90-second recaps where he wears caps. Like, he has a great, you should follow that man. He's really, really good at blending caps into baseball history. At some point, I'll get him on the radio show or on the pod. But I was walking out the house and I'm like, man, I wanted to pop a little bit of color. So the choices was this, or actually that Montreal Monarchs hat in the back, which isn't black, obviously, but it would have popped a little bit of color for me. But I went with this one. I had forgotten that that's how many caps I have. That I had forgotten that I have this one. This is a 1960, I believe, NBC cap. See, you can see the peacock, but it's got a lot of color in it, and it represents, when technically my last TV job was NBC Sports, which is the reason that I have this cap. My friend Laura Britt, who works for NBC Bay Area, gave this to me 5 years ago at the Super Bowl. So I had forgotten that I had it, and I was like, yo, that's the cap that I'm going to wear. We're not going to spend the entire episode talking about my cap. I just wanted to explain why I was wearing it instead of my Remy cap, which I usually wear because there's a glare off the light up there, and I don't have a lot of hair anymore. So I usually wear caps when I'm doing videos. And thanks to everyone who is on the audio platforms, on Spotify and on Apple. But I went to Halas this morning, and I'm glad I went. I mean, for a lot of reasons, I'm glad I went. You've been following the podcast for a while, and I've talked about this. But for those of you who are jumping in because it's a new episode and it's getting close to Bear season, I'll break it down for you too. I want to be closer to what's happening in the sports world. And for me, because of my background, as initially when I started out, it was field producing at Channel 9 and spending so much time as a reporter at the Score, I sometimes feel disconnected just being in the studio. There are a lot of different theories on this. Dan Bernstein has a really smart theory about it that worked for him, even though that he was a reporter. He felt like the closer he was, it messed with his objectivity. And it's something to keep in mind when you're out there in these streets, is whether or not you can be objective because you are dealing with people. I get it. I kind of feel like, and I get like the freedom of that. I understand. I've kind of felt like you can't throw a stone and hide your hand. So you have to be available for people to yell at you, to correct you, things like that. But I also just want my own intel. Like, I trust the people that cover teams. Don't get me wrong. We have, especially on the Bears beat, and I saw a lot of those people today. We have a lot of great people who are looking at things from different perspectives, and it's cool. But covering the games a little bit, covering the people, finding out what's happening. There's a lot that can be picked up just by watching interactions. And I wouldn't say that I'm fully up to speed with it when it comes to the Bears as of yet, but I'm really happy that in the last month I have gone to cover a couple of Cubs games. I went to summer league and now I've gone to training camp. And I'm sure that there's a trip to 35th and Shields in my near future too. Not that we do a ton of coverage, but you should still go out and cover the teams even if they're losing. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the experience because it's been a long time since I've been at Halas, and that was one of the things that I realized today. The training camp experience, I miss the going away to training camp experience. Selfishly, I loved it being in Bourbonnais because Bourbonnais and game day were my revenge on my colleagues who live north. If you cover the Bears, you should probably live north. And I was thinking about that on the drive back. If something happened, if Genie came out the bottle and granted a wish and I was covering the Bears on the daily again, I would move. And I know where I would move too. I would stay in the city because I'm a city kid, but I would move to Albany Park or I would move to Ravenswood Manor because that gets you close enough where you don't have to worry about downtown traffic going out and you don't have to worry about going through downtown coming in. Wilson is about the spot where things usually pick back up when 94 and 90 blend. So I was thinking about that because it was a long drive home. A long drive. Getting out there wasn't that bad. It was, an hour or so. And I left early. Like I'm usually up by about 5:45. I moved that back to 5 a.m. because practice is early. Ben Johnson speaks around 8 o'clock. So trying to get out there from Hyde Park, I knew that the absolute latest that I could leave was 6:45. And that's if everything went right. So I left a little bit before 6:30 and things went really well. And I was able to get up there and kind of get my bearings. It's very different from the Halas Hall that I used to cover. You used to be able to just roll right up. Like if you were covering the team, there was a security desk. They had your name. People usually knew you. And you could roll into the parking lot, and then the parking lot was set up so that the back end of the parking lot was for the media, and then people who work for the Bears, they could park in there too. The way that it's set up now with the refurbishing of Halas Hall and having not really been there for a while, they did a great job on it. Like Ryan Pace deserves a lot of credit for the redoing of Halas Hall. It's functional. It looks like football in a way that maybe it didn't before. So they send you kind of this elaborate thing of like, hey, this is where if you get here early enough, you can actually park in that same lot that I was talking about. But getting there early enough meant getting there before 7:15. And so a lot of people who work in media will get there that early, which is why you hear some of them complaining about it. I like the early practices, even though I live 40 miles away from Halas Hall. I like it because it gives you like the rest of your day. And if you get a good pocket coming back in, you can get back. If it wasn't for Lollapalooza, I probably could have gotten home in an hour because I would have taken a different route. I would have come east and then come south. But then I get up there and they have it set up so like you have to park in a different space, and then it's a bit of a walk. But it's great being able to walk through that place instead of driving through, because there used to be nothing there. There was just the Walter Payton Center and the fields and the building. And now they've tried to turn that extra space that they have, because they're at the end of a business parkway, like right there off of Town Line Road. So if you're familiar, like if you drive to Wisconsin all the time, or you live and you're like, I wonder where the Bears are. They're right off Town Line Road. And then you have to go back about 1.5 miles, 2 miles into that industry park. And they're in the back of it. So getting there and seeing them turn that space into like a carnival feeling is pretty cool. And I like that they have that available for Bears fans. Kind of the same thing if you'd ever gone to Bourbonnais. It's kind of the same thing out there now. They have games and they have virtual labs, and you can take your picture with Kyler Gordon's uniform and your head on top of the uniform. They have video game trailers. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff for people to interact with along with the football. I was really skeptical when they moved training camp back to Halas Hall. And to be fair and to be honest, I know that most NFL teams are doing this. I still don't like it. And the reason that I don't like it, and the reason that I would prefer it be on a college campus, is because not everyone can get tickets to go see the Bears. And the summertime is when there is a level of access to the team that you will not get once we get past that second preseason game. Once that game with Buffalo happens, the access for fans will not be the same. So at Bourbonnais, they get 10,000, 13,000 people who would show up for practices. And I feel there's something special about that. And I know that we can't put the genie back in the bottle. Second reference to Genie. We can't do that. But I miss that. And I miss it for me because traveling to Bourbonnais was always great. It was an hour no matter what for me. It was an hour going and it was an hour coming back. Easy peasy. But for fans who don't have money for PSLs or tickets or anything like that, being able to go see an NFL practice, going to see your favorite team play is a very special thing. And I miss that for Bears fans. That being said, the way that Halas Hall is set up for the fans who do go, and you have to kind of win tickets, but you don't have to buy them for going to a practice. The way that it's set up, I dig it. The Bears are doing a good job with their shuttle buses, and they have like satellite parking for people, and you jump on the shuttle bus, then you go to practice, then they get you back on the shuttle and take you back to your car. It's fairly well run from what I saw, and the people that I talked to today, people were pleased with it. I like how it's set up. You know, Robbie Gould brought St. Viator's team to practice today. So there were a lot of young people who love football who were there, who got a chance to watch it up close. Up close, I'm using air quotes for those of you who can't see me on the pod. There is a distance thing now. Now, the Bears had practice on what I would call their far fields, and that's behind the Walter Payton Center right there on the train tracks. And that's kind of a cool thing, too, because the metro is going by and trains are going by as practice is going on. But even the beat reporters need binoculars. Like, looking around, I was sitting with Jason Leisure for most of practice. He had his, Courtney Cronin had hers, because the distance between you and the far field, like if you as the audience are field 3 and field 4 is over there, and it's hard to see the far end zone coming out on that field from where we're positioned. Cool thing is they have a pavilion for media that's equal to the pavilion for fans. So on days when the sun is blazing hot, there's at least a place for you to go and hide. But what you give up for that is some proximity to the actual players. I feel like I'm already going long on like the logistics of this. So maybe I'll do another pod about you know what? We can make it happen, right? Like, you're going to stick with me, right? You're going to stick with me on this episode. Cool. We'll make it all happen inside of one episode of the pod then. It'll just be a lot longer than usual. So buckle up, because we have to get to the actual practice too, and some of the things that I saw and some of the things that I thought was interesting. But I just want to kind of give you the lay of the land. I thought that fans were in a great space to be entertained. George McCaskey is doing his man of the people thing. I saw him walk in with a whole bunch of fans. He stood there and signed for a bunch of fans before the game, and then he walked fans back to like the shuttle buses. So I've seen George do this for, I don't know, 20 years of him interacting with people. Like, he really likes to do that. And he was doing that again today. I do wish we go back to the old days of taking things off campus, but when you have all you need on your campus, and the Bears do, it is quite the endeavor to take an entire football team. In the case of them going to Bourbonnais, what is that, like 90 miles away from Lake Forest? It's a lot. You have to take all the medical equipment. You have to make sure that the weight room down there at Olivet Nazarene is up to code and all that other stuff. So I get it. I get why they do it. As for what I took away from being there today, and I'm looking forward to going back, which is one of the takeaways, is that I'm going to try to get back up there before they finish this portion of training camp. And obviously, if time permits and allows, if there are days when I might be able to get up to Halas Hall before the show, then I'm going to do it. Like, the days when the Cubs play afternoon games are pretty good fits, because we end up having shows that start at like 4:30. That would give me enough time to get up there. If I wanted to come home and take a nap, which I needed to do today, I didn't realize it because, the temperature was so nice and there's this nice breeze. I didn't realize. I was like, man, I'm so tired. I'm like, why am I so tired? And then I realized why I was so tired, when we have the worst air quality today, the second worst air quality in the world today. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's you. It's all of the smoke from Canada plus all of the allergen stuff. That's why I'm tired. So I zonked out for 40 minutes when I got home, because I was just like, oh, you're done. You are useless to everyone right now. But a couple things. I know that you like to hear about players, and let me give a caveat. It's hard to tell if a player's having a good camp unless you're there every day. In some cases, it's hard to tell if a player's having a good practice, even if you're there every day. But I will tell you that for a guy that people have a lot of faith in, Luther Burden caught my eye in practice. Watching him make plays, whether it was throws across the middle that you can see the running catch ability, or throws down the sidelines that you see him making, I thought he was pretty good today. And it was fun to watch because he's just kind of barely back and being in practice. So he was good. There was nothing I saw from Caleb that was concerning. There was nothing that I thought was spectacular. And I actually think that that's a step in the right direction. Is weird. No, I take that back. There was one play where he was flush from the pocket and he made a really great throw on the run, running right, throwing right. He made a really good throw with touch about 25, 30 yards down the field. And that's cool. It's weird in 11 on 11, though, when the quarterback gets flushed from the pocket, on whether or not, and they had officials there and they didn't whistle it dead, but you do wonder if there's the chance of you getting hit, are your decisions different? And that's what I kept wondering, like thinking about that play. Like if he was actually in danger, does he make the throw or does he turn and run upfield instead and pick up 6 yards and get out of bounds? There are more things. There are a couple other things. One, as it stands right now, the Bears are saying that left tackle spot is a battle of 3 people, and they are giving reps to Karan Amagaji and Ozzie Trapillo and Braxton Jones. And you saw them rotated in and out. I couldn't tell you if anyone played better than anyone else. But I will tell you that it seems to me, and I ran, Big Ant was at practice, so I was running things kind of by him too. It seems to me that they are giving Ozzy Trapillo every opportunity to win this job. It's up to him, and we'll know better after next week's practice with Miami, because then it's going to be a different opponent and they're going to go a little bit more live, and you'll see how he looks in that practice. And then, of course, in the game the following day. And then Buffalo comes in and they do it and that sort of thing. So there's that. The other thing that I think is maybe the bigger takeaway from everything is, make no mistake about it, this is Ben Johnson's team. That has been made clear. There is a level of organization that is happening up there now, and structure, that anyone that was around there last year will tell you was not there. I had someone from the Bears say to me that last year there were a whole lot of suggestion boxes and a whole lot of people making suggestions. And it made it difficult for them to be able to get a cohesive thing together. And then I was told there are no suggestion boxes now. This is Ben's team and everybody knows it. And a lot of the veteran players are relieved that it's Ben's team and everybody knows it. They move very efficiently in practices. This wasn't one of those days where the offense had a bad practice and, you know, they had to stop drills and stuff like that. There wasn't a ton of yelling out there today, which I imagine is a good thing. They'll have to look at the film and find out. But yeah, man, it was an experience, and I'm looking forward to going back. And yes, I got the business because I'm helicoptering in. I'm a host now. I'm not a reporter anymore. But there were a lot of people that I hadn't seen in forever, and it was great. Like being able to dap up with Tom Thayer and Jeff Joniak was great. It was great. You're seeing all of the photographers that I know from back then, running into people who, I'm not going to out this person, but I'll just say there is someone who works at the Bears who started their career at the Score. And being able to see them and know that they've been at the Bears pretty much as long as I've been at the Score, and they're still doing great, is great. I saw some people that I haven't seen in years, and it was good for the soul. And it was good to be seen too. You know, like I don't want to just be the host that is just sitting in the studio, like yelling at everybody. Like I want to be able to kind of make up my own mind about things that I'm seeing. And I'm glad that I got that opportunity to do it today and then to bring it to you. And when I get back, because I'm off tomorrow, bring it to the Score on Monday. Like I have new context now in seeing it. And it's one practice, so I'm not going to try and draw too many conclusions, but it'll help me. And I'll just say this. The other thing that I like so far with Ben Johnson is that he's really good at explaining things. And he explains his method. That's cool. And usually with a new coach, that's what happens. What happens when you lose 3 in a row? Are you still that open to bringing people into your process when things don't go the way that you expect? But overall, I came away impressed, and I'm happy that I went. I've got to figure out the traveling part of it, because it's a commitment. Like for anyone who doesn't live north, it's a commitment to go up there. So shout out to all the fans that don't live north that probably got up earlier than I did to make sure they could get out there and get back to whether it was their camp or, you know, just parents that were bringing their kids. But all in all, I thought it was really fun, and I'm glad that I went and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And the next time I go, I'll post about that. And if I think of anything else, like I have notes and I got my rooster and I write on my rooster every now and again to talk about things that I see in practice, I will share them with you. But I hope you enjoyed this, or I hope you got something from it. And I appreciate this is a little bit of an extendo episode. So I appreciate you sticking with us. And I will talk to you next time. Peace.